everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Lauren Kalil with Morning Chalk Up. And today on the show, we have Anikha Greer, just 18 years old from Canada. She placed sixth at the Atlas Games semifinal, then took 22nd in the last chance qualifier. But it's event 6 at Wodapalooza that she made a name for herself. And people, they are not going to forget it. Anikha, how is it going? How do you feel?
I feel great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm amazing. You're still in Miami, but boy, it was one hell of a weekend for you.
Yes, yeah, it was definitely there was a roller coaster. There's lots of ups and lots of downs, but that was definitely the highlight.
Okay, and of course we want to lead with the best news. So let's go through, you finished Wodapalooza at 12th, but event 6, celebrate 10, you took first. Definitely was a celebration for you. Watching the event, you took the lead right from the get-go and you held on. When they released the workout, did you think it was going to go this way, or what were some of the initial thoughts when you saw the workout?
So when I first saw the workout, I was with my coach in the back of an Uber driving back from like we were in Miami and we had just finished training, and so we'd been trying to stay very neutral about all of the events
Mhm.
because for me my training has just been like weakness focused, how it has been for the past year. So I consider myself a very level, or I did consider myself a very level athlete. Like I wasn't going to win an event, but I wasn't going to tank one, that kind of thing. So when that got announced, we were like, okay, cool, moving on. Like I looked at him, I was like, okay, that looks good. He was like, yep. And then that was kind of it. So I think
Oh my
like
gosh.
deep down, we knew we were excited, but then it was also just like put a lid on it. Got lots of things to do before we get there. Yeah, and then before the event is funny, I wasn't even excited because I'd had a bit of a rocky start to the weekend, so I was feeling a bit like down on myself, doubting myself a little bit. So it wasn't until like 2 rounds in that I finally started getting excited.
I mean, just watching your performance with that, there's so many people that I think maybe we're in the stands or even watching home on the live stream and thinking to themselves, gosh, who is this? Like, she's really freaking fit and she's not slowing down. When you're on the floor and you hear the announcers like saying your name and they finally realize like who you are and you're doing those overhead squats and you're like moving through those muscle ups, does um hearing the crowd or hearing the announcer say your name, did that light a fire as you were doing the workout?
Oh my God, yes. Like that's when I realized like how much I love competing because I've competed online my entire career until this past weekend. I kind of forgot, like I didn't, or I'd not even forgot because I never knew to begin with. This was the first time I'd really experienced that atmosphere, and I don't even remember feeling pain during that workout. It was just every time he said my name, it was almost like I got another boost of energy. Yeah, I like somebody asked me, they're like, how'd you feel at the end of that workout? How are your arms? I was like, fine. I didn't feel a thing.
Wow.
So yeah, I feed off of like the announcer and the crowd. I am definitely an in-person athlete.
Did you have any idea, like sometimes when you're in the moment working out, and especially in a competition setting like Wodapalooza, you sometimes have blinders on and don't see anybody, but like were there any points where you knew like how far ahead of the rest of the athletes on the floor you were?
Um, yes, but only because the announcer was saying it. I didn't look left and right too much. Especially because that floor is super long and I was right at
Yeah.
the end, so I couldn't see very many people. I knew where the girls, like Emily Rolfe was on my right, and she's obviously a tank, so I knew where she was, and I knew I was ahead of her. So I was like, all right, I must be in a good spot then. But yeah, the announcer was actually keeping me very updated on where I was relative to the field, so he was a G.
So you could like hear the announcers and focus on what they were saying while, doing your reps and actually working out.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. It was almost like it was when I finished that workout, I was like, "Oh, there we go." Like that felt like me, and it was like a like I don't even feel it. It was just my body just took over. Yeah.
And when you cross the finish line, I mean, your smile, people watching couldn't help but smile too. It was just so contagious. And, you get full body chills just watching it because your excitement and that little, like, yeah, chant that you did at the end, like, everybody had to be rooting for you at that point.
Oh, the messages I got, like, I swear to God, I was like shaking the whole night because they were so sweet. Like, the messages I got from people, it was ridiculous. I was like, at least expecting like some negative comments or something, like, who is this? Like, that kind of thing. But I
Yeah.
didn't see one. Like, everybody was sending me the sweetest messages. Like, my daughter was watching. Like, now she says she wants to be strong.
My
I was like,
God.
oh.
Oh,
I know. There were so many little ones like that I was just like, oh, if I can do this, like that's what I want to do. Like, I want to make other people want to do this, and I want to make other people like feel that excitement. So yeah, that was amazing.
and speaking of checking your phone, I mean, after that event, it's like your social media went bonanza. Like
Oh,
you got more than 4,000 followers just in a few days. I checked earlier today, you're already at 15 like 0.2 thousand followers when you only started. I mean, like in the like 4,000 to
yeah,
6,000
yeah.
range. I mean, did you have any idea what was going on? Did you check your social media? Like, what was going on in your head?
Well, it's funny when I like walked out and I saw everyone and everybody was giving me high fives, and then I saw my agent Cooper, and
Yeah.
Deb from Lab, and he was like, "That was the start of your career," because I kind of just been chilling in the shadows forever, like being fit, but just kind of nobody seeing me. And so yeah, that was pretty. And like, I'm not a big like, it's social media. There's some issues with it, but at the same time, like when you want this to be your career, it's a somewhat of a factor. So to actually have some recognition more than just like the people at home was pretty cool for me. And it was like I've waited a long time to be able to show the world what I can do. So it did feel good.
Over the past, I guess almost week at this point, has it been tough to, kind of come down from your own high, digest everything that's going on, but also probably like answer a lot of questions or praise like from social media because it just like blew up so fast?
It's been what's nice is because I feel like Wodapalooza, like that event was awesome, but it was like I celebrated that night and then I still had a whole other day. So it was just like, and then once
Yeah.
again, we put a lid on it. So, and because I had such a rocky start, there was a lot of things that are like eating me a little bit, that I'm going to let eat me because that fires me up, right? So there's some things that are
Mhm.
still bothering me. There's some things I'm excited about because it was such a mix. There wasn't this crazy huge high that I had to come down from. I just felt like ready to get back to work. It was like, sweet, people know who I am. I'm hyped for the future, and I want to work so bad right now. So I came out of it feeling like perfectly set up for the season.
Incredible. What a way to like lead into the open season. Um, what happens now?
Now, well, it's funny. So my coach went home, and because he has been my like guy since I was 12 years old and walked into the gym having no idea what CrossFit is. Like, he has been my dude basically my whole life. So him and I were just like it light at the end of the tunnel. We have been waiting to get out and actually compete in person and have my career actually start. So it feels like every year there was just something that prevented me. So we were just so happy that we didn't even talk. We haven't even talked shop yet. We were finally just happy, honestly. So yeah, him and I had a couple fun days where we didn't talk about CrossFit and we just did some normal people things and had fun. And now he's back home and he just texted me. He goes, "Okay, so when do you want to talk?" So now I think once I get back home, he's got a journal full of things written up. Like, between every event, we wrote down the things we liked, what we didn't like, how we're going to fix it. And so we'll go over all of those, and we'll make a new game plan going into the season. But from what I know, not going to peak for the open, just kind of have fun, support my mom and my like best friends at home who are going to do it.
Mhm.
Quarterfinals, same kind of thing. And then semis is where we're going to really that's where we're going to try to peak for, and then not be six this year.
No, no, we're getting you to the games.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
only 18 years old. So you say you started CrossFit when you were 12? That's the first time you walked into a gym?
Yeah, I just kind of stumbled upon it when I was 12, had no idea what the CrossFit Games were, didn't know you could compete. I thought it was just like a fun exercise. So I did it in the teens class, basically as an after school program 3 times a week for a couple years. And then I did the open in 2017, but I was still too young to sign up. So we did it, did pretty well. My coach was like, wow, you're kind of okay at this. Do you want to do some extra work? And I was like, yes. And then it just snowballed. So yes, since I was 12, but only really since I was kind of 14.
Any athletic background before that? Like when you were younger, before 12, what kind of sports did you do growing up?
I did gymnastics for the majority of my life, except I always feel silly when I say that because I wasn't very good. I was by no means
Well, you are now.
but like I never touched the rings. So like people are like, oh, that's why you're good at ring muscle ups. But female gymnasts don't touch rings. So that actually took me a while to build. But I was lucky. I came in being able to do a pull up and like I could walk on my hands. So that stuff I came in with it. And I did show jumping really competitively with horses. That was my life before. Yeah, that was my whole life since I was 3 years old. But didn't give me a whole lot of athleticism, but taught me a lot of other things.
I was going to ask, like, is there any carryover from that into CrossFit?
No, some mental things for sure, some mental things, but when it comes to physical ability, no. I walked into CrossFit with little to no talent, to be completely honest.
So right now you're still in Miami, finishing up, going to do some training down there. And then your plans are to go back to your hometown in Canada?
Yeah.
What has training been like, or even competing been like, not being able to be in person? Like Wodapalooza having the first in-person experience for you, how could you say that they are different in the way that you perform?
So one of the biggest things I took away from this weekend was how programmed I am to compete online subconsciously. Like I didn't even realize. So one of the things, Echo Bike, Fran's my favorite workout. One of my long-term goals is to set a world record in Fran. Like I love Fran. It is my favorite workout ever.
Oh my God. I knew you were crazy in the best way possible.
Just a little bit. But when they added the Echo Bike, it was a completely different workout for me. So I was disappointed in that. And there was a few things that we kind of realized. For me, I never trained Echo Bike because there was no Echo Bike in online qualifiers. So we didn't do it because there's not going to be an Echo Bike in the open. There's not going to be an Echo Bike in the AGOQ. So we just rode. So the Echo Bike for me, it has only really been pushed in my training. And it really has. We have done a lot of it in the past 4 months. So it's improved a lot, but it's still not quite at the level it needs to be with a lot of those individuals. So that was it was one of those things that being online kind of took away. And the other one is like just small execution things like transitions. So in an online comp, you've got everything right next to each other. You're just going in circles in front of a camera. So for me, that Fran workout between the Echo Bike and the chest to bars, I was walking because I'm used to using my transitions as a rest. Everybody else is running, and that bumped me like 10 places, right? And so after the fact, I'm like, what was I doing? Like I could have jogged at least. Like, so little execution things like that I don't experience online make a big difference in person. And even the mental aspect of having people next to you chasing you, it's a feeling that you just can't mimic by yourself.
What is your biggest takeaway from the weekend?
That I belong here. It's always been a question, like, especially being online. I came 6th in semis, but it's like, it's online that it's hard to really feel like it because I didn't see it. So it was nice, especially going into that event. I told Patrick Clark from Morning Chalk Up, I was like,
I love Pat.
I know, me too. Oh my God, I was so happy to meet him. But I told him, I was like, I didn't feel like I belonged. I felt like I wasn't competing how I wanted to. I didn't feel like me. And so that workout, like, it was just like, you do belong here. You have work to do. And I can't wait to do it. But like, you do belong here. So that was a big one. And then the other one was just those small things of like how to compete, little experiences like that I'm going to like take as much from as I can. Because it's one thing to say like, oh, it was a learning experience. And it's another thing to actually like do something about it. So that's what I'm going to try to do.
Now that people know your name, Anikha, we're not going to forget it. What can people expect from you in the 2022 season?
Oh, games. Yeah, rookie season at the games. There's no question about it. It is on my mind every day. That's what we're doing.
And I hope that you get there. We will be covering it, and we're going to watch your journey because, like you said, this is just the beginning. People know your name, your social media is blowing up, but behind the scenes, you're working. You're
Yes,
working.
ma'am. Yeah. I appreciate it so much.
Well, Anikha, thank you so much for taking the time to catch up with us. Incredible performance at Wodapalooza, especially event number 6. And we can't wait to see more from you this year.
Thank you so much, of course.